Hello, everybody, and welcome to this week's episode of Magically Cruising, the cruise podcast where we share our personal cruise tips and reviews to help you make the most out of your next sailing. My name's Kieran. I'm an independent travel agent specializing in all things cruise, Disney, and North America, and I'm joined by my fellow co-host.
Hi, I'm Sarah, and I write cruise tips and advice over at Cruising with Kids and family travel advice over at Mini Travelers.
Brilliant. And today, Sarah, your head's not on fire. You're actually virtually, I say, if anyone's watching this online, they may not be able to see this, but on the video version, Sarah is currently sat in one of the specialty restaurants on board, I'm assuming Royal Caribbean.
Obviously.
And he just looks like her head's on fire, and it just made me laugh as I noticed it. But today we're going to do a bit of a conversation around, and there's no right or wrong to this, but do you think specialty dining is still worth the value for money, or is it worth the price you're being charged?
Are you asking me that question? Or is that what?
Well, it's a jumping off point because we briefly it is such a big topic, isn't it? Like answer
Yeah.
yes or no, binary. It's such a big topic, isn't it? Because every cruise line does specialty differently, and they all price it differently. And then some cruise lines also package it into different things as well. So whether you can buy a separate dining package or you can get it as part of your cruise package. Some cruise lines like Virgin, they are specialty dining level. It's become a bit of a complicated mess, and a lot of people have recently been saying in some of the Facebook groups we're in that the specialty dining is eroding the main dining room because they want to incentivize you to pay more to go to specialty dining. So you've been cruising longer than I have. So I'm not sure if you kind of remember the earlier days. I'm saying like as if you're this ancient relic of the cruise industry. But do you have any kind of point of reference for that? Perhaps maybe of when you first started cruising, was main dining room better back then than it is now? Perhaps.
I don't even remember when we started Cruising Royal it being a thing. It must have been, but it wasn't on our radar. I suppose because our kids were younger and kids are fussy, and I don't. But then it wasn't like you didn't have an app, did you? You didn't have all this
No.
stuff that you could look and see what's available. It was all in the daily news. But I don't think there was really much. There must have been something. The first time we were ever really aware was Joe was about 10, 11, and we went on Celebrity, and that blew me away because we did quite a few specialty dining, and we've never looked back. We always do at least 3 nights on a cruise now.
I say you're quite passionate in you about kind of specialty. Like every conversation I have with you, you always plan ahead and you either know how many you're going to do or what you're going to do. So it's definitely something that you think about, at least when you book your cruises, isn't it?
Definitely. I mean, I'd say that last time on the Celebrity cruise, it let us down a bit. We struggled, but that was the gluten-free options. But yeah, other than that, we always do it because I just like that. It's like going out. I mean, I know you are out, you're on holiday, but I mean, we talked about this in last week's episode, week before's episode, that, I was one of them people that wouldn't book a hotel if it only had 1 or 2 restaurants. I've just no interest. I like the fact that cruise ships have got different food every night. I think the service is good. I think the biggest ships for me was when I started to change and feel that I needed to do that, because the bigger dining rooms, even though the staff are amazing and they just work so hard, and I think it doesn't feel as relaxed on the bigger ships. Hence why on Apex the other week, the small intimate restaurants, I liked that. That really worked. But when you've got a huge dining room with 6,000 people, I found it a bit ag.
Yeah.
So
This is the comment that I've recently seen. It was something that came up talking about kind of dining packages, which we'll touch upon in a second. But somebody was just saying like that they've seen a constant decline of the quality of the main dining room, and they believe it is this incentivization to kind of get people to pay for specialty dining. And I was listening to Sail Away Mag actually. They brought it up whereby I think it's the Queen Anne. She doesn't have enough seats basically to seat everybody in the main dining room. So apparently Cunard's have built it into their design basically that 20% of guests will always dine in specialty. So they've built it into the business model now of how Queen Anne sails, that she doesn't have enough covers for the night for everyone to do main dining room, because they know in advance that 20%, 30% or whatever will choose to do specialty dining. But then some people are saying that the wait to get into the dining room is quite long because there aren't enough covers. So clearly there's a demand for it. But then is the question, are people choosing to dine elsewhere because main dining room isn't as much fun as it used to be and you're having to wait longer now? So the superior choice is to pay the premium to go specialty dining.
I don't. I mean, Celebrity, I'd say the quality was amazing because they're small, intimate restaurants. P&O
Yeah.
as well. Um, Royal Caribbean, we was on Mariner, and that's a smaller restaurant. The
Mm.
quality of the food was excellent, and our friends ate every night in there. I found Odyssey, that restaurant was too busy. And we were sat in an area that everyone was walking through us and walking around us, and dinner was not relaxed, and I didn't enjoy that. And obviously, they wouldn't even give me a dining time before 9:30, so I didn't even bother.
It's a funny one, isn't it? Because I think post-COVID, a lot of cruise lines
Mm,
have moved as well to like anytime dining, free
uh,
dining. There's obviously this trend to kind of move away from traditional dining times, which is what's causing these wait times then because they can't plan in ahead. It's not that they know 6:30, 600 people are coming to dine. They're kind of drip feeding in type of thing. So
mm,
they're having to bus tables in different ways than they would have had to have prepared before. I think that's more what's inflating wait times and the perception of wait times is because pretty much I think every brand now has moved to anytime dining. I think there's only a few, like I know MSC. If you book the lowest two categories, you're on fixed dining. I think if you book
mm,
Aurea, you're on flexible. Um, Princess, even them, they've got I think one restaurant is fixed dining, one restaurant is anytime dining. So I think it depends on what you choose when you book, which
mm.
restaurant you end up in. I think that's what's causing this inflation more so than cruise lines intentionally trying to make people wait longer in the hope that they will go, oh, I'm just going to pay the 40, 50, whatever it is to go and dine in speciality. But I think it's an interesting conversation, at least anyway, of that
Do you know
perception
what
around that.
though? Because I mean, Celebrity didn't do it this time, but then there was never because there was 4 restaurants. What you did was you went to a restaurant and say one night you walked there 2 and then 2, so 2 on top of each other, 2 next to each other. Um, so it was like a 4 cube. So if you walked one and it looked busy, you just walked to another one. So it was never an issue really because you got to do all of them. And there was one night that we didn't get to do one we wanted, and she booked us in for the next night, so it wasn't a problem. Um, P&O, I thought, I mean, you know that I'm not burning to go on P&O all the time, but I did like it. Um, and I thought their dining thing was excellent because it was all done on the on your phone, on your app. And my friend just went through, booked everything. So if you went for something and there wasn't a table, they just said, "We'll buzz you." They buzz you on your
Yeah.
phone. So
I've
that
never
was good.
waited long either though, as well. So like
No.
I've done Holland America. We done specialty once on Holland America, and we done main dining room. There were like consistency issues. Like we all ordered steak in the main dining room, and everyone's came out different, which was a bit of a point of like why
Mm,
is it so hard to get, 6 steaks right? But we didn't wait longer than say 5, 10 minutes on that, which all
mm.
things considered isn't that long of a wait type of thing. And then, they then asked us because we wanted to sit together with friends we made, they asked us to come back at roughly the same time to make it easier. They knew then to have a table free for us. But 10 minutes isn't long to wait for a meal type of thing for that luxury of being able to pick and choose when you want to go. So I don't think it's that bad in main dining room at the end of the day.
Do you know what I'd rather? And what the first time I went on Celebrity, I haven't seen it since, but they used to give you a pager. So they'd say, right, just go and have a drink, and it'll be about half an hour. Now, if someone says to me, half an hour, go and have a cocktail, I'm all over that. I'm happy
Yeah,
because I can go
yeah.
and have a pre-dinner drink, and then you get. I think the first 2 nights it's the bedding in, isn't it? Because everybody,
Yes.
it's
Yeah.
like I'm almost certainly going to have my dinner at a similar time most nights. I'm a bit of a creature of
Yeah.
habit, and most people are. Unless you've got a show or you've got something else or, something you wanna see or comedian, um, then you know when you want to eat.
Yeah.
So people generally it's all settled, and then the restaurant gets to understand the numbers, and they work
Totally.
around that, don't they? So I think it's the
Yeah, yeah.
first night is always just bloody chaos.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. I don't think that would motivate me to choose specialty anyway. I don't think I would go, oh, there's a long wait time. I'm going to choose specialty.
Mm.
Specialty for me is something that we always plan out. It's either going to be full more night if the ship does it, or we partake in it. Oh, I know that's a really like cliche thing of like, it'll be
Mm.
the one night we treat ourselves, but you're making an effort to get dressed. You might as well make the most out of it. Which is, all, in my opinion, the worst time to do it as well, because that's the night you're going to overindulge and bloat yourself and you're wearing your most uncomfortable outfit. So I don't know why we do the logic.
And
It's like,
it's generally lobster night in the main dining, so
you know,
I'm
bad
always in the
choice,
main
though.
dining on
It's
a
scary, like.
formal night.
I think we always go on with if it depends on the cruise line, see whether or not you can get a dining package or not. If we've got to pay out of pocket, we'll generally only do one. We'll pick one night of a 7-night voyage typically, and we'll do one specialty dining. If there's a package you can do, so like MSC, they do their dine package, and you can choose a number of nights basically. So I think on our sailing, you could do 4, which was you could dine in every one of the 4 specialty that was available at the time once. So we chose that, and then it included like the carousel production, which is the Cirque du Soleil type of production. And it was cheap at the time. It's gone up since then, but it was really cheap. So we purposely bought that package knowing we were saving value. I think it was like
No.
£100 per person to do 4 specialty dinings.
Uh,
So that was a bargain. We're about to sail Princess, so we're doing a Majestic Princess in a few months' time, and we are purposely going to upgrade to Princess Premier, knowing we can have unlimited specialty dining type of thing. And when we worked out the maths on that, one of the extra, I think it's like 25 per pounds per person per day to upgrade from Plus to Premier. And by the time we worked out if we do speciality in each of the 3 specialities at least once, we would go a good chunk towards that upgrade fee at least
uh,
anyway. I think it was like $45 per person for the specialty steakhouse. So that's, 90 times 3 roughly. I think we'd be a good chunk of the way towards it. And then it's the extra cost in cocktails, the casual dining that's now included on Princess Premier. So that takes that decision out of it, makes it easier at least anyway to make that decision to do it on brands like that where they have that.
is it Sabatini's?
So they've
It
got
is, isn't it?
Sabatini's Crown Grill, I think it's called, isn't it? Crown, the steakhouse.
Yeah.
And they've got the Catch by Sudi. Not Sudi.
There
Yeah,
was something
Sudi's
different when we
Rudy.
were.
Sorry, the Catch by Rudy.
I can't remember. There was something else when we were on as well. We did the Crown Grill. We didn't do Sabatini's, but we did something else. I can't remember what that was then. Unless it
I
was a
think it's
pizza.
Rudy Sodomine. They have a restaurant normally by him. So on Majestic Princess, anyway, it's going to be the Catch, which is a seafood restaurant by
Right.
Rudy Sodomine or Sodomin. I am going to get told off for pronouncing his name wrong. It depends on the ship, basically, and the age of the ship. I know Majestic is just kind of dry dock. So originally there was a specialty Chinese
Mm.
restaurant called Harmony. That's now changed to Sabatini's. And I love Sabatini's. I did it on Sky. And that meal is the meal that keeps giving. Like, honestly, they had to roll me out of the restaurant by the end of it. Value for money wise on Princess, anyway, specialty, no brainer. Definitely worth it.
Crown Grill. Oh my god, I think that is the best steak restaurant we've ever done
Really?
on a ship. And we were the same. We literally, we got a head on the tables. It was felt like it was like some sort of and I kept going, "You've got to have another course," because it's like 6 courses. But it was just it was delicious. All of it was
Yeah.
delicious. But I'm always definitely a cocktail for dessert person because I don't
Yeah.
do dessert. But it was amazing.
Yeah, I loved Sabatini's when we did it,
Mm.
and I got very drunk as well on the specialty cocktails because, like you say, they had a hazelnut martini, which there's a picture of me drinking it, and I was absolutely out of my mind drunk at the time because it's very strong, very sweet, and they were very sippy cocktails, and I got very drunk quite easily, but fared incredibly well. So I'm so excited. Like, there's one thing I'm excited for about our Princess Cruise is specialty dining on board.
Yeah, it is excellent. I mean, we've not I love that I'm like a sticker for Royal Caribbean, but I have never had a good experience in Chops ever. It's always been the last time we went, the staff were running everywhere, and
Yeah.
it's like they overbook it, and it's just got the potential to be so good,
Yeah.
but because everybody wants to do it, but then everybody's in the group disappointed after.
Yeah.
And I thought that has been on every cruise we've been on.
Yeah, I did on the previous sailing, and I was a bit underwhelmed. I was a bit like, it's not that it's bad. I actually had a really nice meal, but I think my takeaway on it is I've had just as good a steak on board Virgin Voyages in the wake, which is included in the cruise fare.
Um,
So it's no better than that. And it's like $70, isn't it? Something like that, the cover is for
yeah.
chops.
Well, we did
So
that, and we said it was just like Coastal Kitchen. I mean, all right, we were lucky with Standing Sweet, but it was no better than Coastal Kitchen. It was,
yeah.
and the server was brilliant, but he was stressed. He was under pressure, and that's just not. Oh, it's just a bad luck thing, I think maybe because
Yeah.
I mean we're running 2 weeks on Allure, and we've still booked. So well, so far we've booked the Brazilian, which I've never been in one of those before.
Ooh,
I
didn't
know
spot
Chris wanted
that.
to
Is
go.
that new?
I don't know if it's an old because they've got it on on Oasis, they've got Portside, so I imagine it's a bit like that, Portside barbecue.
Yeah.
Um, but it's in the solarium at night.
Okay,
See, they
yeah.
were
Must
in the
be
back
must be
where they're
either
in the
unique to that
festival.
or
Yeah, I've never seen it before on any ship, but so we're doing that because Chris wanted to have a go at that, and then we will definitely do Central Park 150 or 150 Central Park. That is just you could have everything on the menu, and then I do think probably I do like teppanyaki.
so you know better than I do. And obviously, we've had a few conversations, but I didn't even know it was a thing until you pointed it out to me. But with Royal as well, and this thing, I personally think that if you pay out of pocket, Royal's specialty is on the higher end of the pricing spectrum. But there are ways you can save money as well, though, isn't there? If you book the dining package. So we've talked about it so many times, but do you want to just kind of, for people who maybe haven't listened to other episodes, the dining package, how does that work and what does it include on board? And obviously, it varies by ship, but in general.
So you've got your ultimate and you've got your free night, and I think on long cruises you have 5 night as well. Now they did
Mm,
take them out, but I'm sure we got 5 night on the last cruise, so it must still be a thing, depending on the length.
yeah.
So the unlimited, it used to be unlimited, but they stopped that because
Kind of unlimited.
people were like literally going and having 4 playmakers a day, and inviting all their friends and ordering. So now I think it's a lunch on port day, no, sea day, dinner every night. And if you have certain ones like playmakers, some of the cheaper end of the scale ones, then you've got like a certain amount of credit, some of the
Mm,
sushis. But we book the free night because I do like the main dining, and I definitely want to
yeah.
go in there on
Yep.
lobster night. And you can now upgrade, can't you, to lobster and to
Can
sirloin
you?
in the main dining anyway,
Ah,
which
okay.
Chris often does. I can't remember how much it is, but it's not too much. So you can do that. But then the free night dining package, so it's £150 for our sailing, but we got it for 113 each. So when you work that out, if I look at chops, so 150 Central Park is about 60 odd, chops is 50 odd, 60. The prices
Mm,
aren't even
okay.
on there
It's
now.
not as much as I
So
thought. Then
actually,
I seem to have a memory it was like 70.
no, I think you've got like the really expensive ones are, you've got the Taste of Royal, haven't you? And
Mm.
there's another one, isn't there? The fine dining one. Basically, we do it and we book free, but we use it for free fine dining. So it'll be like
Yes. Yeah, yeah,
Giovanni's.
yeah.
Um,
Mm.
what have you got on there? You've got the mason jar. So we'll use it for one of those three, but we will still go and eat in Playmakers, but I won't use my allowance for that because that's
Yeah.
$12 for a meal. So I'm not going to waste my $50 credit on Playmakers. So no, they're really good. They are really good deals. And the thing I like about speciality dining is it's a bit different.
Yes. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So you feel like you're going to an actual restaurant. Teppanyaki, I mean, that's like going to a show. It's brilliant.
Do you know, I've never done teppanyaki, and all the cruise brands, they're like, oh, we've got this really cool concept, it's teppanyaki. And I'm like, in all my years of eating Japanese food, and I eat my weight in Japanese food every time we go to like a new city, never done teppanyaki.
God, see, I used to work near Benihana's when I worked in Mayfair, so it's just brilliant. And I mean, the thing is, you get a lot of rice, but then you can choose steak,
Yeah.
scallops, and maybe prawns. And then, so we all get one each and then share it all. But it's cooked in front of you and it tastes amazing. It's the freshest steak. The scallops are always amazing. And it's a show. They're brilliant. It's a work of art what they do.
I'm going to have a look now. And so they have it on Legends of the Seas, because if they do, I will do it for the first time next year. But any money, watch now, they won't have it on Legends of the Seas. They'll
I
be
bet
like,
they will because it's fully booked all the time. So it's not something they'd take off, I wouldn't think.
I'm not sure if they would have announced it so far yet, but Legend of the Seas. Oh no, they do. They have Izumi, hibachi, and sushi. There we go. Right. So
Yeah.
my Legends of
So
the
yeah.
Seas cruise next year, I'm gonna do teppanyaki for the first time. But you can go as gluten free though, can't you? That's my next
Yeah.
thing of like, because that'll be the
I mean, I
lockdown.
can eat soy sauce, so it depends. I can eat soy, so I'm all right. So it depends if you can eat soy, I think.
It
But
depends on what mood he's in. Sometimes he can and he'll have a reaction. Other times he won't. So it depends. But I'll go by myself if not.
and it's not. I mean, all right, it's not gimmicky. I mean, it's an old thing, isn't it? It's people. They've been doing it for God knows, probably hundreds of years, centuries. It's not something that's brand new. It's like Wonderland. You do it once, and it's like, yeah, I've done that now. That was
See, I want to
fun.
do Wonderland. It really appeals to me as a concept, but I love that kind of like playful experimenting thing. But I do wonder, would you do it more than once? Is it a one and done experience?
Yeah, I think it's the one that done. It was brilliant. I mean, the main meal was amazing. I had lamb for main meal, and that was delicious. But I mean, like when you got tomato soup and test tubes and stuff, it was.
Yeah.
Jack didn't eat anything because he's a fussy eater. He's
Really?
like, what is he? I mean, he's 24 and he's taking ham sandwiches to work since he started school. So he ain't eating tomato soup out of a test tube.
Yeah.
So he went out and went to Sorrento's for a pizza. But we knew that was going to happen
Yeah,
and
yeah,
thought, either eat it or don't. Obviously, Joe's a chef. He tries anything. but there's no way Jack was eating some of the stuff. But yeah, it was brilliant. So, and I think it's a really good thing for kids. I mean, Jack is just a fussy eater, but he does try.
Yeah.
But Joe, from being tiny, because he's always cruising, because wherever we've got off, we've gone to a local restaurant on the ship. As soon as we started doing speciality dining, and our rule is on holiday, you have to try something new
Yeah,
every
yeah,
day,
yeah,
and
yeah,
that's us
yeah.
as well. Um, and he is passionate about food, and hence become a chef. But I think not going in and asking for a kids menu and saying, "Oh," I mean, Joe was 7 and asking for escargot, and the waiters would be like,
Really?
"Oh, you might not like that," and he was like, "Yeah, I do. I love it." And because on cruises they get to try these things, don't
Yeah,
they?
yeah. So anytime I've tried escargot was on a cruise ship because it's a bit of a cruise thing. I do think
Mm,
some brands put it on the menu, knowing people are going to try it, and I think it's
yeah.
that whole cruise memory. Oh, I tried escargot on a cruise ship because the only time I've ever had it, and I always order it when I see it on the menu, kind of like for that novelty factor. And every time I have it, I'm like, oh, it's fine. Right? I'm always a bit disappointed. Like I kind of part of me wants it to be unpleasant, so I can kind of go like, oh well, I
Mm.
tried it, but I'm like, oh, it's fine, it's just garlicky. It's a balls of chicken.
It's the butter that I struggle with, the fat
Really?
melted butter on it,
Yeah,
but yeah, but he was eating scallops and, and it because we've said, "No, we don't want the kids menu," and until they've
yeah.
tried, because they're always bringing something else, won't they? But I think that's a real good reason to do a specialty dining thing, and they get it cheaper, the kiddies, don't they? So,
I think it's always worth trying at least one, and I think what I love now as well is this move beyond just the steakhouse, and I literally, as the irony is, I've got a picture of me in one of the best specialty I've ever had, which is on Cunard, which is the Veranda Grill, which is their steakhouse. Honestly, when they bring out like a steak knife menu and they're like, "Sir, would you like to choose your steak knife?" Like, and there's a whole smorgasbord of knives. That's how this is fun. Their steak was incredible, and I also did. I can't remember the name of it, but unless Veranda is the one on Holland America, maybe I may be getting them confused. But we also did steak on Holland America and on Royal Caribbean. I think there's a
mm,
trend here of where we normally end up on our specialty nights. But they're all incredible meals, and I think they all try and elevate it a little bit in some sort of
mm.
way. Like I know from memory we had some sort of hanging bacon on Holland America, which was incredibly flavored and cooked a certain way, type of thing. Like I said, the knife parade where they bring out this tray of knives, type of thing on Cunard. They all try and do something a little bit different to make it a bit more exciting and interesting. Um, I kind of like that, as you say, though. It makes that
Mm.
kind of 1 or 2 nights of your cruise feel a little bit special to have kind of that extra
Mm.
little layer of service and to have some different unique signature cocktails and just kind of feel a little bit special. I do think, like MSC, from my memory, they were all kind of casual. I think Indochine, which is the Vietnamese fusion, weirdly French and Vietnamese, but I believe there's a cultural significance there with the cuisines matching. Um, I had a lovely meal, but it was probably the fanciest of them. Whereas by their like sushi and steak restaurants were quite casual, which I kind of liked. Um, and yeah, they had a Mexican, which
Oh, that I loved that. I
do you
loved
not think
that.
though it's a bit like it's a posher version of El Loco Fresh? Like
Yeah,
maybe it's my perception of
we
Mexican
went for
food not really
lunch.
being
We went for lunch, so but it was brilliant, and like we didn't do the all you can eat because you just couldn't physically have eaten it all. But I liked the steak. Yeah, I like the Indochine, is it called? Yeah, th I mean, that's the one thing about MSC that I couldn't fault was the specialty
yeah.
dining.
Well, that's my tip to everyone as well, is if you do an
Mm,
MSc and you are a bit of a food snob, and I do generally mean a bit of a snob, definitely do specialty dinings. There are some people I know who I book who will only dine in specialty restaurants
mm.
because the main dining room isn't particularly great at MSc. I've heard talk of it being better than it was when I went on board 2 years ago. But it's got a bit of a reputation of not having the best main dining room. And some people rave about their pizza. I hated the pizza on board MSC, but some people say it's the best pizza at sea. Not my cup of tea.
I mean, my friend likened it because obviously, as soon as that man was the waiter was rude to me, I thought, "I'm just not even trying." Um, but she likened it to a very bad school dinner. She said she felt like she was being punished.
Do you get what I mean?
But Darren keeps saying to me, Donna's Darren, he keeps saying, "You need to try Yacht Club." So I keep saying, "It's too much of a risk." And he said, "No,
Everyone
honestly,
says,
you need
yeah.
to try Yacht Club." It shouldn't be that much of a difference.
Thank you. That's where I stand with it because I've been literally so we've been on Cunard with the head of training. We've spoken to the MSC sales managers, and I'm like, oh well, we have issues with gluten-free in main dining rooms with failed. Blah, blah. Oh well, you need to book suite level. I'm like, I shouldn't have to book suite level to get good food. Like, I shouldn't have to. That should be a lovely extra. Like, you get above and beyond service. But when the answer to we don't cater to gluten-free very well, but we do in yacht club, I'm like, no, doesn't sit well with me.
Well, we did. I mean, on Celebrity, the main dining room was amazing. And I mean, there was one night when my steak come and it was like rock hard. It was just all fat, and I can't even bite it. It just knocks me ill. So I
Yeah.
just called the waiter over and said, "I'm really sorry, but I can't eat it." And I never do that. And you know what? They were really, really upset that not that I'd sent it back, that I'd had to. He was really upset.
Yeah.
And I'd say that but then when we did one speciality dining, and she was quite rude and just said, "Yeah, well, you can't really have anything on the menu." So then she promised me fried rice and brought me boiled rice, and when I said, "I am not eating boiled rice for specialty dining when I've just paid for this," and she did get the ump with me. So we looked at Eden, and there wasn't really anything on there. So I
Really?
think we were unlucky. Yeah, there was, and we did the rooftop grill, and that was amazing,
Yeah,
and they
yeah.
couldn't do enough for us. So that was the other way round, actually. I'd say that the food on Celebrity was just outstanding. I've never had a bad meal on Royal Caribbean, actually.
No.
Um, but I just think in the giant restaurants, it's not the staff because they're brilliant, but I feel stressed watching them being under so much pressure.
I think you can't escape the fact when you go to main dining room though that it is mass catering. Like no matter how elaborate the dining room is and how good the food is, you always feel a little bit like you're in a giant hall with lots of people running around and people getting up and getting down and people rushing past with water and drinks. And it's not a bad experience. I'm not saying it's bad, but you can't escape that's going on around you. You're not having a private, intimate dinner, whereas I think Speciality is a little bit more like that. It feels a little bit more intimate because it's usually a smaller restaurant. It's a bit quieter. It just is a nicer experience to kind of just get away from that kind of mass catering vibe that some of the main dining rooms have. And design's got a lot better. They create like more pockets on
Mm.
cruise ships now than they've ever done. But there's no denying you're in a room with 300, 400 other people at the time dining type of thing.
Oh, thousands. I mean, I think if you're around the edge, you're all right, aren't you? But on Odyssey, as you walked in, there's like a bank of tables, which probably should be just an opening. And we were sat in the middle of that. So everybody that came in and went out, well, 30% of or 50% of people that went past our table in some way or another, and it just got on my nerves. Now we did have a lot of specialty dining books, so it didn't matter. But so I just thought for Allure, obviously on Oasis, we bought a suite because we thought we don't want that big restaurant for 2 weeks. Um, on Allure, I thought, well, it will be fine because it's not the quality of the food, it's where they sit you. But I'll probably be a bit more vocal now and say I don't want to sit there. If you've got quite a few specialty dining nights anyway, we're only going to be eating in there 3 nights, but you can't argue with the food. And I think what you've got to remember is the food you're getting is so much. I mean, there's not many places on land where you get food as good as you get on a cruise.
No,
There are
no.
places, but not loads.
And that's the thing in that the food is really good quality and there's always something new and exciting to explore. Whether you're doing specialty or not, there's always something nice on the menu type of thing. Um, what would you say then? So what's your favorite specialty that you have dined in to date?
Teppanyaki, I love it because
Yeah.
it's fun, and I think you can't argue, can you, when you're getting big giant prawns, scallops, steak. Oh, it's just amazing. And I just think the service is excellent because you've got a server, like a wait member of staff, and then you've got your chef at your table. So it's fun. I loved 150 Central Park. Can't wait to go back. And do you know what? And this is the thing with specialty dining because it's multi-tiered. Me and Donna were talking about this the other day. Um, so you've got your main dining, you've got your mid-level specialty dining, and then you've got your top tier, and then you've got like your one which is like your chef's table, haven't you? Which is more your Michelin star level, if you will. I know it's not, but you've got a what they called like an associate chef that does that. Um, but don't overlook the middle level because Playmakers is one of my favourite places
Yeah.
to eat. It's the best burger I've ever had in my life, and the atmosphere is brilliant. And then you've got places like Johnny Rockets, and Um, what is it on Princess, the pizza place?
Alfredo's.
Alfredo. So you've got, and then you've got the Mexican on MSC. So all of these places. Oh, no, I don't think- oh, there is. There's the pub on, and there's two on Celebrity as well. So there's all these places you can do it. You've got the pub on Queen Mary. Is that? I don't, do you have to pay for that now? You didn't used to have to.
You do pay, yeah. I'm pretty sure they now charge you. They never used to, but now they do charge
Yeah.
you for like pub food, gastro pub food. And I think that's the key thing. Speciality doesn't necessarily, and this is why I say like we use it as our kind of chic night or gala night meal. It doesn't have to
Mm.
be though as well. Like you said, there are casual meals, and this is where I think some people are a bit frustrated, and that's the conversation of Cunard used to include food that was in their pub, and now it's an extra charge type of thing. I
Um,
think it's like some items on the menu are type of thing. And I think some people like Playmakers and Johnny Rockets, I think they get a bit annoyed that it is a charge when it shouldn't be. But I think it's a charge to reduce people volume, if you get what I mean. A lot of the time I speak to Royal when they say it, when I ask why do you charge for certain things and other things, they always say it's to control the number of people. If everyone could do it, it would be swamped all the time. And it's not
it'd
built
be
for
hammered. Yeah.
hundreds of people. So
It's
that's why
not
there's a
dear.
charge.
I'm just looking how much Johnny Rockets is. Because when we first started cruising, oh yeah, it's $14.99, which you can't really argue, can you? Because you got your burger, your fries, and right. So when we first started cruising, it was £3.50. Would have been $3.50.
The economy's
But
doing nobody any
that
favors at the moment, like, is it?
bear in mind, Joe was probably 5 and he's
Yeah.
now nearly 19. Oh, he is 19, nearly 20. So I suppose you can't really argue at that, can you? And Johnny Rockets is, to me, it's a cheap meal, and we go for the atmosphere.
Yeah. And it's just an alternative though as well. And I've become this is the spoiled like multiple times a year cruise type of thing. I love a main dining room. I love going and sitting down and having a meal and
Mm,
that it feels like an occasion. But there are times when I don't want to sit in a dining room and wait to be served on. Sometimes I just want to grab something quick and casual, but I don't want the buffet either. So that's where I kind of love like places like Johnny Rockets where you can go in, get a good burger or Playmakers, just get it like Alfredo's even in the evening. It's really nice just to kind of
mm,
go, should we not bother? I can't be bothered to, put a shirt on and get dressed up and whatever and go to the,
yeah.
the main dining room. Let's just grab a pizza. Leaning on to this conversation type of thing of Princess is a prime example of how dining has changed type of thing because a lot of
Mm,
Princess's casual dining, what we're talking about, like Alfredo's, used to be included, is now chargeable. They've started charging for it. And obviously they do their Princess Plus, Princess Premier. And I think that's an interesting change. And that's where people are starting to get a bit worried now that things like that these casual eateries that used to be included on some brands are creeping in with charges. And I think it seems to be happening to the Carnival family of brands more than it's happening maybe to say Royal and Celebrity, where they've always probably had those casual charges or inclusions. It seems like Carnival on, Princess, we're seeing it on P&O a little bit, we're seeing it on Cunard, whereby they're taking their casual eateries like Alfredo's Pizzeria, like there's the American Diner on the two new P&O ships, isn't there as well? I forgot what it's called, but it's like an American Diner style. And again, it's not expensive. You're talking 10, 15 pounds dollars, but it used to be free or food of that quality used to be
mm.
free. It's now moved into casual eatery territory. Um, I don't have any strong feelings on it. I got no say or no control in it, but does that
Yeah.
bother you and seeing that trend happening? And would you potentially riot if, say, Sorrento's on Royal Caribbean went chargeable instead of being included?
I don't think they could do Sorrentos. I mean, I don't eat pizza, but I don't think they can. I think the size of those ships, your places like your Sorrentos, your cafe, Promenade Cafe, your Garden
Yeah.
Cafe, they're there to take the pressure off the buffet.
Yes.
That's why they're there. So they're not. I don't think they're going to do that. And at the end of the night, for people to go and have a snack rather than carry on drinking, it's
Yeah.
it's a strategy, isn't it?
Yeah.
But I mean, there was restaurants. I thought P&O did dining very well, and as I say, I can't remember it all because I went on once, but
Yeah.
that I really like. There was nothing I didn't like about that ship. It wasn't like I got off and thought this was awful. I thought it was all really good. It's just not as
Y-
good to me,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
only to me,
Yeah.
as the brand I
Yeah.
like.
Yeah.
Um, but I really like the way they did the dining in some of their restaurants. I can't remember the names. One might have been called Conservatory. I can't remember, but they were all really good. And some of it was free, and some of it you could pay extra. And I thought that was a good thing because you could choose I mean, they had these big hanging kebabs with scallops and steak, and
Yeah.
oh, they were amazing. So to me, I was paying $12 for that because it was a
Mm.
bargain. So I just think it's changed, hasn't it? Cruising has changed.
Totally. Yeah. I don't I'm a big fan of kind of like paying your cruise fare and then knowing you've got everything covered off. That's kind of what appeals to me about Princess Plus and Premier, knowing that I can pre-plan for my casual meal, speciality and that type of stuff. And
Mm,
I don't have to worry about the bill afterwards. I kind of like that. But equally as well, I'm not somebody who's going to get upset about the fact there are
mm.
upcharge casual specialty restaurants, if you get what I mean. Like Princess is a prime example. They have Ocean Terrace, I think it's called, the sushi place. Like that's an extra charge. It's a casual eatery. It's not part of the specialty category. It's not quite part of the
It
casual
always
eatery.
has been though, that. It's always been extra.
And it's just an option. You don't have to have it. You can go eat food elsewhere type of thing. There is food. And I don't know. I think
Well, you've got your thingy, haven't you? What's it called? The cafe. Continental Cafe, is
Intercontinental,
it?
yeah.
Yeah, so you've got that. So I think the key is there should be somewhere for you to snack. I hate the buffet. I just honestly, I have anxiety walking in the buffet. We'll probably do it twice on a cruise just because
Really?
it's that whole going backwards and forwards, and then you sat waiting and you can't really wait because your food's going cold and Chris is still getting his. And they ain't brought my glass of wine yet, and I can't have my dinner without a glass of wine or a
Yeah.
juice or whatever. So it's just all that. No, I just it stresses me out. But some people love it. Um,
Yeah.
so there should always be other options where you can go in the morning, get some granola and yogurt, some melon, pastries if you want. And I think they all do provide that. Maybe MSC didn't. That was the one that I struggled getting snacks on. It
Yes.
was
Yeah, we
buffet
did as
some.
well. Phil, I think, walked 17 decks twice to try and find some like potato chips crisps because he was having a gluten-free meltdown and we couldn't find any gluten-free
Yeah.
snacks. And it was in that random hour when the buffet's closed type of thing. And he just wanted crisps with his drink and he was getting very, very irate. And I was like, yeah, I think he had to go to the kids club and they had Pom Bears, I think, from the kids or like an off-brand version of Pom Bears from the kids club type of thing. But we've had this conversation that that's like the value versus premium cruising type of thing. If you're going to go on a premium cruise, there's going to be more food available for more hours a day. That's just by proxy what you're paying for when you pay double the price. So, like, one thing I do want to talk about is just as the brands, and again, we've talked about this with Laura when she came on to talk about P&O, and I noticed it is a Carnival brand thing, but just because they want to add more specialty dining to ships now as well, they just keep putting like new restaurants in places like the main
Mm.
dining room or in like a corridor or something. So there's now specialty dining venues where they're charging you an upcharge, and it's not really in a nice venue. You're kind of in the main dining room, just eating a different, and the food's incredible. Like I had an incredible Asian fusion on Cunard, but it couldn't get away from the fact of I'm in a corner of the buffet. It was like,
Yeah, we did that on thingy. But do you know what? What that was? Oh no, it was included as a speciality, but there wasn't a cost for it.
oh,
And it was
okay,
a Gordon Ramsay one in the buffet, and I was thinking, "God, this is gonna be rubbish," but actually it was
yeah,
really good.
yeah, that's
It
the
was the
thing.
food was amazing, but it was you're still in the buffet,
They
but
just
we're at the
dim the
side.
lights in the buffet, don't they, and put up some like
Yeah. Yeah,
barriers or
Cunard do it
something.
as well, don't they? Because we did it
Yeah,
on Cunard. But then saying that, that's like this Brazilian one that we're doing, that is in the Spa Cafe. Now, I've never eaten in the Spa Cafe,
no.
so I can't imagine what it's gonna be like, but they it's worth a go, and it will give it a go. It's something to try.
And this thing, isn't it, of like what is it? What makes it special though? Is it kind of the ambience? And I think back in the early days it was, wasn't it? It was going to a special restaurant that was exclusive to that particular restaurant and you were dining on a special menu. And I think it is changing a bit now as times are going on. I think this is this casualification, if you want to call it that way, by more and more people are going on cruises to be more casual, but they don't want to eat in the main dining room. So you're seeing this new trend towards more and more pop-up casual eateries that are in the specialty bracket, where the food's still good, but it's just not a specialty dining restaurant where you may normally want to dress up or go for a little bit of extra effort.
Well, the poolside barbecue, when we did that, we did it at tea time. So it was like 5 o'clock, I'm gonna say, and we'd been round the pool. Did we really sit around the pool? I don't think we did, but we'd obviously been. So what we did was we got our swimwear on most days. I went transatlantic, have a bit of sunbathe on the balcony, went for a walk, have lunch, um, play cards. We did all sorts. Then we'd sit in the sun, have a glass of wine, playmakers, go on the slide. It was just like we did all sorts in a day. Play Jenga. Honestly, it was brilliant. But then one day, so we turns rocks up at 5 o'clock, and I mean, me and Donna, I mean, when you look, I've got it on video, and it's like, just look at us, because our hair's everywhere, and we've got, you know, um, but it was really good because we didn't have to worry about getting dressed up.
Yeah.
And then a country and western man came out and started singing, but we were leaving by then. Then we went back, and I think we just went to Playmakers and had a few drinks, and might have got ready to go out. I can't remember, but the fact is, you don't have to. And on when we was on Mariner, we took our goddaughter out one night, and her mum and dad went off and had a meal, and we went and played Jenga and had wings.
Yeah.
So there are lots of options. There's lots of options,
Yeah.
and you don't have to get dressed up, and it's okay to go, "Oh, I
Yeah.
can't be bothered tonight."
And that's the thing, because I guess the gist of this episode is do you think it's worth the money that you're paying? And the answer, I feel like it is. I always feel like every time I've had a specialty meal, they're always one of the more memorable meals I've ever had on a cruise. Like we did it on Disney, and I think I've told this story before, where I was blind out of my mind drunk on Disney when we did
Mm,
the specialty dining, to the point that I missed the fireworks type of thing. But I still remember the meal part of it because it was such a good
mm,
meal, the ambience, the wait service, and everything. It was totally worth. And Disney back then, it was like $40, if that. Yeah, I think it was less, to do Paolo's back in the day. It's gone up since then. I still remember that meal vividly, even though I don't remember going to bed and I
mm,
don't remember fireworks type of thing. The food was that good. And every time I have speciality, I may not remember the name of the restaurants, but I can tell you
mm.
pretty much every special Sabatini's. I was drunk out of my mind. There's a theme here. Drunk out of my mind in Sabatini's. Still remember the dessert. The dessert was incredible. It was like a deconstructed Ferrero Rocher with amazing hazelnut ice cream. It would come in an amazing bowl that I was trying to underarm out of the restaurant afterwards. Don't know why I was, but it just looked really cute. Um, every single time I have speciality on a ship, I always remember the meal because it always leaves some sort of
Mm,
impact. Either the food's incredible, the theme, if you get what I mean, like the whole ambiance, like Cunard or the knife menu. There are little moments like that that you kind of go like, this is kind of cool, this is special. So I do think I'm passionate. I do think it is worth it. Some are they're not all created equal. Like I say, like I think chops, some of Royals, I would be a bit like I'd have to really, really commit to it. Or now that I know you do this dine package on Royal,
mm,
that may make it more worthwhile for me. And I think that's the thing as well. I don't think I would necessarily pay ad hoc. I love it when you
mm.
can get a package. That's why I think Princess is a good option
Yeah.
because you can get the Princess Plus and get one or
Mm,
two. I think I'm on the website now to try. I think at one point there was one speciality. I think it's now gone on the current version of it because now
mhm,
Plus only includes premium desserts and two casual dining meals, which I think is a shame because casual dining used to be free, and now they've moved it that you got to pay for it and you get two casuals included in plus. But Premier is where the real value is, and you get unlimited specialty dining. And trust me, we're going to make the use out of that type of thing. We're going to get our £25 per person per day value on the Princess Premier. So it depends. It really does depend on how much you're willing to pay and what the specialty is. But
mm.
I've not had a bad meal on any. There's meals where I've gone, maybe it wasn't worth the money, like on Royal, for example, but I still had a great meal. I still loved everything. And I left there stuffed and full and had to go have a lay down for a meat sweats type of thing. So that is still a good experience. It's just that it's teetering for me personally on that point of would I pay
Mm.
$60 for that meal personally? I don't know.
That's why, well, I mean, and the a top tip for this, and you probably know if you regularly cruise Royal Caribbean, or if you don't do specialty dining, then just keep an eye on it because the price has changed. Because as I say, this was 150 odd pound or dollars. Let's have a look. Is it pounds or dollars? I think it's pounds. And we got it for 113.
Yeah. Which
So
how many does
when
that
you look at it,
include? Does that include three, isn't
3,
it? That's,
yeah, £113. So we're not going to do playmakers with that. We're going to do that separately. You just tell them you're not using your package. And actually, then they're not expensive. You've got 4 really good value. And I mean, chops, the food is excellent. It's just that it's been too busy every time we've gone. But 150 Central Park, I mean, and Giovanni's, I love Giovanni's. And the steak in Giovanni's, I think, is every bit as good as chops.
I need to do
And
it.
then we'll
Like,
put,
we're gonna do. We're definitely gonna think. I think we're gonna get it. Like, obviously, we got a lot of time before now on our Royal Cruise next year, but it's gonna be my first proper sailing, at least anyway. And I'm definitely gonna try my best to do as
you'll have
much.
the train carriage, won't you? Is
Not
that on there?
on Legend. Well, we don't know yet. They haven't announced every venue on it, but I don't think it's a Legend. I think that's a Utopia thing. Um, they've got like
You have to
other
pay
things,
extra for that, but
and
yeah, you pay
that's
extra
a
for that, and you
lot.
pay extra. I think teppanyaki, you pay $15 extra each if you wanna do that. But we might just do Azumi, I don't know, but I do like it. It's the best scallops you're gonna get on the ship.
Well, I've just logged into Celebrity as well because it's not one I'm aware of because it wasn't an option. The way we were booked on Celebrity was a travel and agent incentive thing, but they do it as well on Celebrity. So I'm here now and I've just picked a random sailing. I think this is a 7 night sailing. I don't know where we're going on this cruise, but I've picked, I'm just being nosy now where it's going. But I picked is from the November 8th this year type of thing. I think this could be it's one of the Caribbean sailings, so the Dom Rep. But the food packages you can get, they do have the speciality, much like Royal as well. So Celebrity offer a 3 night speciality dining package for £151 per person. And then the unlimited is £384 per person. I can only see pounds, sorry, because I'm a UK travel agent. But say like the 3 night one, I think is very similar to what you're saying as well. It includes 3 nights of speciality. And then if you want to go in, some of them, this is surcharge. So chef table is $60 surcharge. Dinner on the edge is $50. And Le Voyage is $20 surcharge. And you get a food credit, which I'm not going to read all the T's and C's, but there is a dining package at least anyway, and then there's also the
Mm.
unlimited one as well. So Celebrity also offer, again, you've got to go into your pre-cruise planner. The reason why I don't know about a lot of this stuff is I've only recently learned how to view the pre-cruise planner when you're not booked on a cruise, but
Oh,
also
right, yeah.
Royal control all of this as well. Celebrity control all of this.
Mm.
We don't get to see it all. So it's not like I can go into the booking
No.
and add it on for you. You have to do it yourself type of thing. So I've never really known about it. And they've only just introduced the feature about a year ago where now as travel agents, we can dummy log into every single sailing and
Mm.
see the pre-cruise planner. So it's all new to me
And
as
the
well,
thing
learning that.
is, the drinks, the dining package is like the drinks package. So when we booked our drinks package for this sailing, I can't remember what it was, but it was 70 odd dollars a day. But I factor in that I like sparkling water. I like sparkling water with my dinner. I like sparkling water in the cabin. I like to have some. Um, I drink a lot of normal water. I drink a lot of coffee and I want nice coffee. So when you factor that in on top of your cocktails and stuff, and plus I love my fizzy cup. I use it all the
Mm.
time. Ready I'm ready for a new one actually. So when you factor all that in actually, because I was like, "Oh, is it too much? Is it too" we'll just spend as we go. But when Chris said, "Work out," by the time you've had a few cocktails and wine with lunch, like wine with dinner, it adds up. But then the week later, it went down by £80.
Which is
I think it was
crazy. That's a lot of
per
money.
person, but you just cancel it and rebook it.
Yeah, yeah. And that's
And
the thing,
that's
you do have
really
to
good
keep an
that
eye
you
on
can
it.
do that. Yeah, so that you can do the same with the dining package. You can
Yeah.
cancel it, I think, any time up until getting on the ship, and then if you get on, you can go to guest services. So, just keep an eye on the price, and you can always get quite a good deal.
And that's why they don't put it past travel agents, is because they want to control that flexibility. They want to have a look at it and go, is it selling well? Is it selling too well? Do we need to put an offer out type of thing? And generally, I was speaking to Royal last week, and that's what they say they do basically revenue management in Miami. They will look at each voyage and they will go, is X, Y, and Z selling well? Do they think the dining is going to be full? Is the drinks package too sold? If it's oversold, they'll put the price up to
Mm.
stop people buying it. It's very much one of those. You do have to keep an eye on it and kind of see. That's a unique thing to Royal. Royal and Celebrity run their ships that way. I know, like Princess is the flat price for Princess Plus and Princess Premier, or the drinks package. I think Holland America is the same. It's a flat price. It doesn't fluctuate by voyage or whatever. It's just per night, per number of nights per sailing. Sorry. You do have to get it for like the maximum duration with Princess Plus. The Celebrity package, obviously, they will only sell, and same with Royal, isn't it? They only sell so many 3 nights, and you've had it before. It sold out, and then we were literally filming, and I was like, "Oh, I'm in your sailing now. Actually, it's available." And you're like, "Oh, great! I'll log in and get it." So clearly, someone must have cancelled for it to become available again. So they do control the number.
But interestingly, so transatlantic, that was £40 a day. I mean, oh my god. This when I booked it, the one for October. But do you know why that is? Because there's a lot of Diamonds and Diamond Plus and what's the other one's called? Pinnacles.
Yeah,
So they don't get drinks packages. So that's the only thing I can think of. I mean, I'm not
yeah.
saying that's categorically why, but that can be my only assumption of why I've got the drinks package for £40 a person for a 2-week cruise. So that's booked already. Um,
Well, it's by ship as well, though. So it depends on the size of the ship, the type of the ship. It literally is like revenue management in Miami will just look at every single sailing, every single ship, and they'll just make a decision and try and see if it works. If 50 people book it one day because they've dropped it down to $40, which is rare. It's rare it goes that low.
I couldn't believe it. But on our sailing, so when was it? So I booked it, I don't know, about 6 weeks ago, and then a month ago, somebody put in our cruise group, "Drinks package £60." I've just
On
booked
it.
it, put a screenshot, so I was like, "Right," and it was still only 64 for me.
Yeah. Really?
So it just shot, yeah, so, 'cause I was like, "Well, how can that be? How can that be that you're getting it for 60 and I'm paying
Yeah.
64?" And somebody else said, "Oh, it's dynamic pricing," but
It
so some
is
people got it
generally
for
like, yeah,
60.
yeah, it will be loaded by the number that are sold. So the first 20, 30, 40, like literally Royal
Yeah,
system works that way. It's down to how many have booked it and the price does change. So you definitely have to be kind of savvy to it. It's also though as well, one thing I will say is regional. So they will give UK customers booked on different offers than they'll give American customers as well. Don't agree with it
it
is
must
wrong,
be.
but it is very much that level. They know what Brits are more likely to book than Americans. They will offer different incentives to the different markets, assuming they're going to book different things.
'Cause I check my Royal Caribbean account while I'm eating my breakfast every single day. And that's all, I
I
know.
do as well, to
But
be
I think
honest.
while I'm eating my breakfast, I think, "Right, okay," so I look at all my cruises and see what's on offer because
Yeah.
I think so, like, that man booked that after me for 60, but like you say, but I'm happy with my 64, so that's fine.
Yeah.
But I'm glad that I was able to cancel it and book again.
Yeah, it's good they do that because not all cruise lines would, and they would make it very difficult to cancel it and get that refund. And it's good that you can just kind of go in and do it. And it is definitely a top tip. It is to keep an eye on it and make sure you're getting the best prices possible. I don't get any notifications. They will email you, and I don't know if yours is fixed now, but I'm already my ship isn't even on the system yet, so there's nothing to book. But I'm still getting emails telling me I can get an amazing deal by pre-booking, and my cruise isn't available yet to actually add a name
Yeah,
onto.
Mariners, not Mariner, our Greece one next year, I don't think there's anything on there yet.
Hmm.
Because I am looking because I think, well, if it comes out early and it's cheap, I'm gonna get it.
Yeah, I know. I'm dreading the day they do it because I know if it comes out and they're launching with a good price, I'm going to want it. But I'm definitely going to keep an eye on it for our sailor next year. So then, just to kind of wrap up, then I think I think there is definitely value in specialty dining, and I will definitely do it at least once per voyage. Now that I know there are more opportunities and ways to kind of get better pricing on it by booking either a package or a trio or whatever, then I will always do that as well. We're very big foodie people. I think the key thing, my advice to anybody is are you a foodie person? Are you a fussy eater? Do you enjoy a good meal? If you do, I think speciality, you can't go wrong with it. What about you? Do you think similar or do you have different take on it?
Yeah, I think on Royal, Princess, Celebrity, and Cunard, you would always get a really good meal in the main dining. I don't think the food's always good, and they accommodate you, so I like to have less carbs and more vegetables, and they will do that. So I don't think there's any for me that, they cook the steak how you want it. I've no I'm not saying that I don't think the quality is bad, but I do think it's
Yeah,
worth paying extra to have a few nights because it's just a different experience. It is a higher
absolutely.
quality of food. It's not that that's bad. It's just that they're giving you what more of an upmarket restaurant feel, and even the fun ones that are just like the medium priced. I think definitely do them
Yeah,
because they're brilliant.
yeah, definitely. All right. Well, guys, I hope that's given you kind of a bit of an insight into at least our thoughts on it and giving you a bit of a thinking point for when you're booking your next cruise. Like I say, it does vary by brand. So you do kind of need to do a bit of research, check your pre cruise planning app or check a few websites for kind of tips on what other people have done just to work out whether you're getting a good deal or not. But it is very personal. This is the thing. These things aren't right or wrong. It's whether it matters to you. So, Sarah, I know on your website, especially for like Royal and the brands you've sailed a lot as well, you've got tons of kind of dining guides and kind of tips for people on your website. Where's the best place people can kind of follow you, but also find that information out?
Yeah, we've got, I mean, Royal Caribbean, and we've got Oasis of the Seas. I think we've got quite a few of the ships, but Oasis is a really good grounding to look at because it's got most of the restaurants that most of the ships
Yes.
have got.
Yeah.
And we've got free dining guide and a speciality dining guide. We've got a speciality dining guide for Royal Caribbean. I will drop some of the links below,
Mhm.
but you can find them on. No, you can't find them on Extraordinary Chaos because that's my craft blog. You- yeah, you you can find them on cruisingkids.co.uk.
Fab. And if anyone is ever interested in sailing with any of the brands and you live in the UK, I would definitely love to help you do that as well. You could find me online anywhere under magical-traveler.com. That's my URL, not everywhere, but my social media, which is everywhere, sorry, is magical TRVLR. Other than that, guys, I hope you've enjoyed this episode and found it useful, and we'll see you on the next one. Take care. Bye.
Bye.